Hey amigas! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jemmy. I'm honestly so excited today because I just counted how many books I read this spring. I went from 0 to 21, literally 21 books. And honestly, that is so crazy because I was reading like 2 books a year. But now here we are, baby. A little pat on the shoulder. But in all seriousness, it just feels good to look back on the progress that I've made. I remember when I was younger, I would just fly through books because I was in school, I just had more time. And then I went to college, did my master's, and all of a sudden I'm barely getting through it. Anywho, so today I will be going over the books I read this spring. Listen, technically, the summer starts mid-June. Don't come for me. I didn't make the rules. It's on my calendar. But I thought a tier list would be a good way to wrap things up and just get my thoughts out on how I felt about the books that I read. All right, I just need a little drink, maybe a little cafecito, and I can get started. So I made horchata from scratch and I added espresso and it's so good. If you haven't tried that, I would definitely try it. All right, I also made some emotional support tater tots to get me through. I like having a little something to munch on. Oh, they're hot. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Okay, so here are the categories. What a waste of my time. These are the books that I felt like you've wasted my precious life. You've wasted my precious time, and I want it back. I want it back right now. The second category is I could have lived my life without reading this book. This is one where I don't feel as strongly about it, but I feel like I could have lived my life without reading it. Like I would have been fine. I'm not missing anything. Like we're good. I could have kept that on the shelf, you know? The third category is it was okay. Sure. You know, like it was all right, you know? The fourth category is 'twas a good time. And I don't know, I don't know why I have that in a British voice. You know, it was a good time. Like we had good company. I really enjoyed it. I have no regrets about it. I would definitely recommend it to someone. Like, you know, it was a vibe. We were chilling, we were hanging out. The last category is this has marked me. I've been imprinted. You know when you read something so good and you feel like this changed me as a person? Like I am a different person because of this book. The first book I ever felt that way for was Twilight. So honestly, it makes sense that I have a little vampire there. All right, let's get this started. Let's start with Wayward first. It's at the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I thought Wayward was so boring. I'm sorry, okay? I really like the concept of it. It's powerful women, powerful witches. It had stories of resilience and sisterhood, motherhood, you know, all that good stuff, which I really, really like. And so that's why I was very drawn towards it. But it was just so boring. I think it was just a lot of characters to keep up with. I never felt like any of them fully developed in a way where I connected with them. And I think the back and forth made it even worse. I don't know. It wasn't for me. It didn't work for me. I feel low-key a little bamboozled because I heard so many good things about it and everyone kept saying like read it. Everyone was recommending it. But I think it felt kind of short. So let's see. I am in between. I could have lived my life without this book and what a waste of my time. I think I'm gonna do what a waste of my time. I honestly was reading this to go to bed because it would put me to sleep. Drop, there we go. Okay, next up is 7 Days in June. I loved this book. I really did. I wouldn't say it's like the best book ever, but I just felt like it was fun to read. I think it was a perfect summer read. The romance in it felt very real, obviously very dark at times, but I think her daughter was just the funniest person to me. She was so shady. She was so smart. She was super witty, and I think it made it really enjoyable. I was like ha laughing in bed reading this. And like it's pretty hard to find a book that makes you laugh like that. So I don't know. For me, this was twas a good time. Twas a good time. I think true to what I said, it made me laugh, it made me cry. It was really fun. I definitely recommend it. Okay, so to have it in order, I'm going to start with Heartless Hunter since it's the first of this series. I think it's called the Crimson Moth series. So I really liked the book, but there was definitely, it was very tropey. And like sometimes that's good. I mean, it was fine, but I feel like I didn't get enough of her being in action. She's supposed to be this absolute powerhouse of a rebel. And I just feel like a lot of that was spending time with one of the characters. I won't spoil it. It was really fun. I really liked it. I think it's one of the better romantasy books, but it definitely felt, maybe it was just that I felt it was YA. I think it was fun and I think it was juicy. It definitely had like every trope you can think of. I was feeling it. I really liked the love triangle, which wasn't really a love triangle, but it was very confusing. What I did like about it was that it did not go the way that I thought it would go. It definitely had some twists and turns that weren't super predictable to me, and because of that, it just made that experience so much better. So, let's see. Let's see where we put Heartless Hunter. I would put it on, it was a good time. It was a good time. I would put it there. Yeah. All right. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I'm scared. I don't know. Listen, Linda. I liked it. Okay? I liked it. It's just that it was so hyped up. It was so hyped up. And it was kind of like just good. I think I'm realizing I'm having an issue with too many back and forth. Like, I love a good flashback. I don't mind it. I think it really helps you learn the characters more. It helps you engage in a different way, get the lore. But it was literally every 10 to 15 minutes I'd be going back and forth. Paris and then back where she was and back. It was a lot. And I actually really liked the main male character in this one. I feel like I related to him a lot in his struggles with mental health. But I don't know. I found that it was just not... There were so many parts of it that I thought, I don't really like the way that the story is going. I think there's more that could have been added to it. So, like, it wasn't bad, but it's just, like, I liked it, but it definitely wasn't my favorite. It definitely didn't leave its mark on me the way I thought it would, the way people made it sound like it would be. Okay, so for me then, I'm gonna put it under, it was okay. It was okay. All right, to next one. The Lion Woman of Tehran. This one was so good. The Lion Woman of Tehran was so good. I'm not even a historical fiction girly, but it was just such a good book. It was so nuanced. The characters were so rich. They were so complex. I find myself still thinking about them. You learn so much about Iran. You learn so much about the politics at that time, the impact that it had, the perspective of what women went through at that time. When I think about a good book, like a really good book, this is what I think about. Listen, for me, this has marked me, okay? Literally no notes. It could not have been better. Okay, we got Miss Heat of the Everflame. So, you may not know this about me, but I love the Spark of the Everflame series. I think it's so underrated. I feel like the romantasy space does not talk about it as much. And I don't know, maybe other people don't feel about it the way that I do. It didn't impact them the way that it did for me. I think a lot of the recent romantasy books and just romance too in general, they move so quickly. Like, it makes it so unbelievable to me. It's like watching Love Island or something. Like, this is not real. I think it's so important to develop the relationship between the two main characters who will be the main love interest, to understand why they have such a deep level of love, because that's what a lot of these romance and romantasy books have. They are usually like such deep, intense love stories. And if you just met someone, I have a really hard time believing that you can feel this deeply. I feel like it's giving love bombing. So going through this series and getting such a slow burn, understanding why they love each other so much, I ate that up. I ate it up. I really recommend it if you like that genre. But I don't know, I could be very alone in how I feel. I just think she deserves her flowers. Okay, so I think this is the hard part for me because, like, objectively, or like, for me, I don't think it's the best book ever written, but has it marked me? Yeah, it has. It's made its mark. And so that's why I love having this tier list, because it's different than a 1 to 5 star rating. The categories are what I'm going off of. Not so much like, is this a 1 star, 2 star, so on. Next up, Rebel Witch. Okay, so I think Rebel Witch was an okay sequel to Heartless Hunter. Though there were some tropes in the first one, there was also a lot of unpredictability. And because of that, I felt like this could be something new and refreshing. And I thought, okay, when she makes Rebel Witch, she'll take that even further and we're gonna get more of some different and unique perspectives. There were so many ways we could have expanded that relationship, and honestly, it just went deeper into the tropes. Like, we went backwards. It was a little disappointing because I really like this genre. It just became too predictable. I think it's still like a fun read. I mean, if you liked Heartless Hunter, you should read it after. I think it's safe to say that it's going on the it's okay pile. Honestly, this embodies what I feel. That little shrug, that's how I feel about it. You know, she was okay. Okay. Red Rising. So good. Red Rising knocked me off my feet. It's everything you want in a sci-fi. The world building was so good. The characters, the action, the writing, the plot twists have never been so blown away. I had a good time. I'm now to the point where I'm telling everyone about this book. Besides everything I just mentioned, it also has overthrowing tyrannical governments, starting an uprising, strategy, infiltrating an elite community. I don't know how you couldn't be hooked by this. I think this goes without saying. It's gonna go on This Has Marked Me. All right, tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Tomorrow times 3. Tomorrow to the 3rd power. I'm sorry. Okay, for those who don't know, the book is just called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I liked it. I learned a lot about the gaming industry, games overall. My boyfriend is a gamer. He games a lot. And it's something I just don't like as much. And I feel like this kind of helped me understand his world a little bit better. But besides that, because that's not even part of the story, the writing was really good. I've got to give her props for that. The writing was really good. My issue was how insufferable the characters were. They were bad. At times I felt really bad for Sam. I feel like he had a lot of issues and disabilities and he didn't feel comfortable or safe enough to voice them. I don't think he had the support that he really needed, and something about that story really touched me and resonated with me. But with that being said, the way these two communicate, they're not working. And it was really frustrating to go through. It was not as bad, but kind of like normal people, where you're just like, if you would just talk to each other, this would not be happening. And there's a 3rd person in this story too, and I think he is amazing. I think his story was really emotional to go through. She has a very creative way of describing their inner thoughts and how they perceive the world. So for that, I do think it was really interesting to read. So I don't know how I feel about it. I think it's technically a really well-written book. I think it's a good book, but how I feel, on the inside, I mean, if I'm being honest, I think we're leaning towards it was okay. And I think it's mostly because if I was emotionally pulled in, but I wasn't really happy with the outcome of the story. It kind of left me feeling a little bit sad, and that's not bad. Like, I don't think when you're looking at a book overall that that's a bad thing, but if we're going off this tier list, she was okay. As you can see, a lot of the books that are coming up are from the Throne of Glass series. I started Throne of Glass this year, as a lot of other girlies are, and it is a ride. So let's start with the first Throne of Glass book. So I read it in the order of, and listen, to each their own, no fighting. I know everyone fights about which way you're supposed to do this. I like to do it in the order of publishing. I have no regrets. I really enjoyed the way that I did it, but I started off with Assassin's Blade and then moved to Throne of Glass. I'll tell you, for me, that had the most impact and it really helped me. Had I not read Assassin's Blade first, I do not think I would like Throne of Glass as much. I would have found her so annoying to the point where I do not think I would have finished the second book. I'm just being so honest with you. But reading Assassin's Blade first, it was so emotional for me. I was so wrapped and hooked into the story now that I can now move on to the other books and the rest of the series. Throne of Glass was good. It was fun, but I can tell by the way it's written, it's for a very young audience. I just found it hard at times with how immature everyone was being. Anywho, I did like a lot of it. I did like the fighting aspect, the competition aspect of it, and just learning a little bit more about her in that world. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it towards "'Twas a good time." Because it was. I had a good time. Okay, next one, Count My Lies. That book was such a mess. I don't know what to say. I was really intrigued by the summary of the book, the concept of someone lying, just getting caught in a web of lies and not knowing how to get out of it. And I did like the plot twist, but the ending, I thought it was so bad. It felt like it did not make any sense. It was very unrealistic. It ruined it. Like, that book for me was like, this is great. It's my first thriller. I just don't think it lived up to the rest of it. The end did not match the rest of 85% of the book. So I think this is gonna go under I could have lived my life without this book, because I really could have. All right, we got The Crown of Midnight. Crown of Midnight comes right after Throne of Glass, and I didn't think it was that good. It was all over the place. This was where she, for me, became so insufferable. Like, and I don't know if it's because I'm reading this when I'm older and not like in high school, but I just thought the way that she made decisions did not make sense to me. The people she plays blamed on, I just did not get it. I feel like there could have been a lot of better ways to go around the overall plot. But I mean, I like the series, so I'm just gonna put it under it was okay. It makes me sad because as I'm reading the series, I'm really liking it, but this one was not that good. I have to be honest. Okay, Blood Over Brighthaven. I really like this book. I loved it so much. Like, I'm emotional just thinking about it. This book impacted me so much. I could honestly cry right now thinking about the main characters and what they went through, the struggles they faced in this world, the atrocities they had to see and had to overcome. The story was just so beautiful. And I read a little bit more about the author. She was inspired by Full Metal Alchemist, and I can definitely see that. I can see that imprint in this book, and I think it is definitely worth a read. This is one of those books that even if you're not a fantasy girl, I would definitely consider reading it. It is just so well written. The story is amazing. It's definitely worth a shot. For me, this is definitely, without a doubt, this has marked me. And it's interesting that this book is not a series, but it definitely should not have been. It's perfect as just a standalone. And I don't know how she did it because there is world building. There's a lot to learn. There's so much to learn. But she did it perfectly. She was able to get you emotionally invested in the characters, tell an incredible story, do world building all in one book. And I think that's really worth something. So I will not stop talking about it. Okay, we got Miss Heir of Fire. For me, Heir of Fire is when I felt like we were coming up. We were back on the up and up. Crown of Midnight was so bad for me. Heir of Fire was where I was going to decide if I was going to continue the series. And you know what? It wasn't that great either. I really enjoyed the world building, and so it kept me curious enough to continue. It also introduced new characters. And honestly, it confused me. I think it could have been introduced in a different way. That's my opinion. The new character that I'm talking about, I do eventually learn to love and really like, but I just think that, again, the way that it was written, it did not do it for me. With that being said, I still think it was good. I still think it was important to the story. It was important to the series. And we finally got to meet a new person, We got to meet a new love interest. So that's always fun. So I really like that. This is going to go, I think I'm going to do It Was Okay. I think it was kind of a good time, but overall it was like just in the middle. Okay, next one. Phantasma. I love Phantasma. It's like a guilty pleasure, I think, of a book. Describing this book to other people who are not in this genre, it's a little embarrassing at times, but it was good. It was good. It's a dark romantasy. There's ghosts, phantoms. It's very steamy. That's really all. There is like a huge plot twist at the end that makes absolutely no sense. It is so rushed, but it was still entertaining. And this is kind of a standalone. I know there's a sequel, but the sequel is about another person that was in the first book. And I do like where she was going with it, but it just wrapped up so quickly that it didn't make sense. You just kind of left with more questions than you had. And I don't know, I would have preferred another book that went into detail about the plot twist at the end and gave us more of that lore than to have another book based on the sister. Because like, I'm gonna be so for real, I just don't care about the sister. Like, I'm not reading the second book, but I would have read the second book had she gone further into the lore of the main male character. Let me tell you, Phantasma is going on towards a good time. I enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend it to my girlies that like dark romance. Okay, to get through the Throne of Glass series, we have Queen of Shadows. That's the last one I've read. I might be continuing the rest this month, but this is the freshest one in my mind. And I really liked it. I felt like this is the one that actually made me fall in love with the series as a whole. Assassin's Blade is the book that made me fully dive in, but Queen of Shadows is what really brought me back to loving it. After going through a lot of ups and downs with the series, I feel like there was a sense of maturing, of finding yourself. Even though there's a lot more that's going to happen, and I understand, even though I don't know what it is, I think this made me feel hopeful for where we're going in this series, and also feeling like I like the characters. I know other people don't always feel this way, but I have a very hard time enjoying a book, especially a series, if I don't like the characters, because I'm just like, what am I doing here? I don't like you. I don't want to be around you. Like, that's how I feel. So, there's different reasons people like books, but for me, that is a big deal. And I really liked it. Queen of Shadows will go in 'Twas a Good Time. Okay, we've got 4 more. This is what happens when you read 21 books in one season. Yellowface. This is another one everyone told me to read, and I hate saying it, but I hated it. I like the concept. I know what the author's trying to do. I think it was written really well. I think the story itself was interesting. I think it was a very unique story to tell of someone who is trying to take the identity of someone that is a minority, of a group of people that have been oppressed. The idea of cultural appropriation, but in this instance, literally stealing. Thinking about the moral implications, and also just talking about the issues with the publishing industry, I think were great. But again, the character was horrible. I hated listening to her. I truly disliked anything she had to say. I did not like being in her head. I don't want to know more about her. I think she's an awful person. It was so difficult to get through this book. I had a really hard time. I could have honestly just read a summary online. I could have been fine with that. I did not need to hear her thoughts. So, because I like the concept of the book and I respect the story it's trying to tell, I'm gonna put it in I could have lived my life without this book. I don't think it was a waste per se. I didn't need to read it. All right, we have Lights Out. Don't judge me. Don't do it. Don't judge me. Okay, if you know what this book is about, then you know. Okay, look it up. Can you even talk about this stuff on camera? I don't know. I'm not going to. I'm gonna give you all I'm gonna say is that it's a dark romance. It is intense. Yeah, but I liked it. I think the main male character was so funny. The kind of things they like to do in their relationship, I don't necessarily relate to, but I think it was just a very entertaining book to read. And I've read other dark romances and I've come to realize I don't always like them that much. But this one was really funny. I really liked it. Especially if you're going to read it, do the audio. Because the guy who does the voice for, I think his name was Josh, he just did such a good job. And it made that character even more funny than probably what the book intended. So Lights Out is gonna go on 'Twas a Good Time. Okay, 2 left. Whew. Okay, we have Miss Cersei. Miss Cersei, come to the stage. I really like this book. To be honest, I love Greek mythology, so I think I may have a bias in that, but I think it was so well written. I really liked the way that she described her experiences through the eyes of a god or a goddess. I think there was something unique about the writing. There was something interesting about that point of view, how someone like a goddess could start to understand what it's like to be human and what humanity means through her eyes. It's very reminiscent of stories about witches and how they're demonized, but this is a retelling. So you get to see what she went through, how she survived her circumstances, and then how she thrived afterwards. And there were definitely things about the story or her choices that I didn't agree with or didn't like, but more so, I liked her growth and I understood why her needs were just to be normal. I think not everyone has to be this intense, larger than life personality. And I think it did a really good job of showing someone who just wanted to live a peaceful life, but because of the society that she lives in has been demonized, and how she had to use the stories about her as a tool to continue living her life. I think it's safe to say that she'll go on 'Twas a Good Time. Okay, last but certainly not least, The Bombshell. So The Bombshell is special to me because of many different reasons. One of them being it's the first YouTube video that I made. The second is that the author is Salvadoran American. I love seeing authors represented in my own culture. But even aside from that, I really love the character. And I'll start by saying, like, she is sometimes a dumb bee. I get that. Like, her choices don't make any sense. It's kind of like Selena, where they just put on such a mask that you don't know who the real person is. But it was a really fun and entertaining story. I have a whole review on that. But I just thought it was just truly like a punchy, bold book. And I also learned a lot about Corsica. I think the writing was also amazing. So I'm putting this on This Has Marked Me. Okay, amigas, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for staying with me and watching. I really enjoyed my time making this tier list. I'm really happy to celebrate how many books I've read so far. And I think it's fun to take that time to go through them all and see how I feel about it towards the end of that season. With that being said, I hope you take some time today to show yourself some compassion and take care of yourself. I would love it if you shared with me what are some of your favorite books this season. Thank you so much, and until the next one.